Man, we're gonna look really cool in a second. Hold on.
Oh man.
Oh! Movie magic.
Oh, it does.
I gotta learn how to play this game. I haven't played it yet. Whoa!
Rocket ball.
You're doing it.
It's pretty cool.
Noticeable difference.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Lighting. They should use that in movies.
Wait, they do.
Oh.
Speaking of movies, intro to the podcast.
Yes, welcome everyone to a well-lit bowl of dude soup. Although you probably don't want that because the second you see it, it's terrifying. You see all the little chunks floating in it, the skin that forms.
Ew.
It's chunky and has a skin at the same time. How does that happen? Who knows? It's dude soup.
Do you think you could take the skin off and then you could make soap out of it?
Ooh, yeah, you could,
That's
but
what they used to do a long time ago.
the problem is the skin is a condensed chemical that you can't touch with your bare skin or a latex glove or any known substance on Earth. If you could somehow make diamond a malleable substance and wear it, that might work. But diamond tongs, maybe?
Wow.
This episode of Dude Soup is brought to you by Harry's. Harry's is a subscription service that will send you shavable stuffs in the mail. So you don't, yeah, so you don't have to go to the store. We've been basically fighting over the little Harry's kits we got all week because...
I used mine this morning and it feels so good.
Yes, Joel. Wait, come back in here. So, Harry's is... oh, wow. You already got some 5 o'clock shadow.
No, you do. That's yours.
Oh,
Mine
that
is smooth. Feel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. That's weird.
That's good.
I didn't know that my own stubble could feel like that when pressed against another man's face.
Today I learned.
But Harry's sends you shaving kits, and the first kit you get actually includes a pretty high quality handle. It's nice and heavy, makes you feel like a man, which not a lot of things these days do, am I right, guys?
What?
Harry's Shave Plan is a monthly subscription that sends razors directly to your door for as little as $3 a month. But we do have a specialty coupon. You can get $5 off your first subscription by going to Harrys.com and using the subscription code DUDE, D-U-D-E. Harry's lets you take the guesswork out of shaving. Your first shave plan also includes a free handle, as I mentioned, so you get that nice shave. It does make you feel a lot cooler than handling plastic, I'll tell you that. And Harry's is so confident that you'll love their German engineered blades. They're giving you a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Start your Harry's monthly subscription and never worry about buying blades again. As a special offer for new customers, get your free razor and save $5 off your first subscription with our code DUDE at checkout. That's harrys.com, Harrys.com. Code DUDE. Start shaving better today.
Anyway, Rocket Power. We're talking Rocket Power today.
It's called Rocket League.
No, I'm talking about the Nickelodeon cartoon Rocket Power.
Tell me about Rocket Power, because I never had cable.
Rocket Power, I think, is the same company that did Rugrats and that one about the little girl who lived in the jungle with her father, who was voiced by Tim Curry.
Aw, Real Monsters.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Anyway, Rocket Power was the coolest show because it's about a bunch of kids who didn't do shit except for skate around in their awesome coastal town and surf and just basically be awesome.
So there was no conflict in any...
No, I mean, the major conflict of the show is there any way we could increase our awesomeness?
How can we be...
And ultimately they decide yes.
Didn't they have rocket-powered, like,
no, they didn't.
Skateboards?
No.
How did they increase their awesomeness?
Wasn't this podcast about video games?
Don't spoil the show, but tell me.
There's not a lot of video game stuff to talk about.
No, there is. There's plenty. Adam,
you do a straw poll and let us know if you want to hear about video games or Destiny.
Rocket Power.
What happened in Destiny this week?
Rocket Podcast.
So here's a segue for you. Yeah. Rocket Power is kind of the new flavor of the week on Twitch,
right?
And also just Steam in general.
You mean Rocket League?
No,
yeah.
Rocket Power. Sure. Stop saying Rocket League.
It's called Rocket League.
It's coming
back.
That's
different. People are playing
Whoa,
Rocket Power.
that's cool.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Fly up on the walls.
Just
Ooh! Nice job, Adam.
Oh, bless score.
Let's score.
It's a Blesker.
Yeah, nice. This game, it's actually, so this always comes down to, I know we're not going to talk about this game the whole time, but this is my first time playing it. The first thing I noticed with a game like this is does it control well? And the game controls very well.
It looks awesome.
It's fun to play. Like,
Is it intuitive?
yeah, it's fun.
And you're playing against Relentless Virgin. All right, go ahead.
Are these bots or are these humans?
No, these are humans.
We're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where your segment is going.
Damn it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So, to my recollection,
Yes.
I could be wrong about this, the original Five Nights at Freddy's was kind of the first big game that really, like, just took off and...
Minecraft?
Well, I mean, like, yeah, you're right. Minecraft, I think, was kind of a slow burn, but...
That was a slow burn, yeah.
I mean, like, Five Nights at Freddy's hit, and 2 days later, like, the videos...
was out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the
felt
sequel's
like
out. But, there were already a shitload of videos. It was the first game I remember, in the same week as release, it kind of being, like... It was understood that if you were a YouTuber or a media creator, you had to do something with it.
You had to play Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. And then, like, the audience kind of got on board with that, too, and they'd be asking their favorite creators to do something with this. It's kind of happening with Rocket Power
League.
Yeah.
Have we been requested to play
Now
this?
knows what the name is.
I've seen some
Stop
people
correcting him.
Some people
when
bring
he
it
says
out.
rocket power, that is also a correct answer.
But so the Five Nights thing, it's interesting to see this. I wouldn't call it a model yet, but it is the sort of thing where like,
Oh, interesting.
if Rocket League hits real big,
Yeah.
people play the shit out of it for a week and then get tired of it. Kind of maybe not like they did with Five Nights. That had a little bit longer of a tail than 1 week, but. I think the reason that there were so many sequels so quickly is because he kind of had to capitalize on the runaway popularity of his initial release.
And they're easy to make.
Yeah, and they're easy to make.
Yeah.
But the problem is, maybe not a problem, but according to Steam Spy, the subsequent Five Nights have all sold like much worse than the original.
Of
So,
course.
according to Steam Spy, the first Five Nights,
Well, the
it's-
game's more fun to watch than it is to play.
right, but the drop off is pretty incredible. So
Sure, happens with everything.
no, it doesn't.
Hold on, let him
It
finish
absolutely
the-
doesn't.
Let him finish.
Finish the data.
The first
when
five.
Assassin's Creed 2 sold less copies than
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was talking more like movies that come out too soon. But go ahead.
Oh,
I see
okay.
what you're saying.
The original Five Nights sold 665,000, again according to Steam Spy, so really just 665,000 people own it on Steam.
Right.
The second sold 336,000. The third sold 198,000. So each time it sells half the units of the last, which is terrible. Terrible retention. So if the fourth continues that trend, it's going to struggle to break 100K.
Here's the thing though that I'm sure we're going to touch on. How much is it costing him? Because this seems like a better decision than the only other game that I can really think of that kind of mimics it, but Slender.
Yeah.
Because then they were like, oh, you guys like our game? Okay, well, we're going to make another game called Slender the Arrival.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a big game, like an actual full release game. And we're going to spend 2 years working on it. And I don't know, like, I'd be curious to see how many copies of that sold. Because, like, if they had just released another one, yeah, he may be selling half as many as he was previously, but he's selling still a lot more than if he had just waited.
I also wish I could find out how many man hours he's put in per game.
Yeah, that's true.
So like for the first Five Nights at Freddy's, I think he said it was a relatively easy game to make for him, which means it got easier and easier as time went
Yeah,
on
that's true.
when he was developing those games.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if, because he never really added that much to them. He added like more complicated,
like
People
more
in
more
field.
monsters or.
but I mean, like if he had added or like maybe another game mode or something like that, to where people would have wanted to pick up the new one versus like
Yeah.
playing the same game over and over and
Fool
over.
me once sort of mentality of like so they're gonna people realize quickly they're like, all right, he's just doing small updates.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
But they're only $10 each, so.
They're only $10 each.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of worth it.
It's also basically a Flash game. Like,
Yeah.
it basically has the depth of a middle complicated Flash game. So like, you know, again, it goes back to how much does it actually cost to produce,
Yeah.
but then what could he add really?
Sure.
You
Oh.
walk around, like he could invest more money and a lot more time into it and make a more complicated game with more features and
more mechanics.
better graphics
Well-
or whatever, but then that's going to cut into his profit margin and I don't know if that's worth it.
also something that we're used to, when you put a giant number in front of something, it becomes intimidating. So by the time you get to 4,
Yeah.
everyone's like, fuck this, I'm out. Like I have to play the other ones and just to get like the story or whatever. Like it's more fun to watch a lore video than it is to actually play that game.
I wonder if people think that about Five Nights at Freddy's, or if they know it enough now that the number doesn't matter. You know, like I wonder. I just don't know. I'm not sure.
There is kind of a continuing narrative in those games, which is kind of weird. Mostly related to like listening to the phone calls you get.
Sure, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's like a minor.
Yeah, it
very
is.
minor.
It is
flaw.
minor.
I wonder if it's also maybe because they came out so close together that there wasn't like enough hype or time to like hype up a new one coming out or something like that. So maybe a lot of people don't realize that there's 3 of them out there versus just 1 or 2.
Oh, they know.
I mean, I think at this point, at least, well, all right. So here's
I never see much
here's
of
what
them
the
on
Five Nights at
Steam,
Freddy's.
also they'll pop up.
Here's what the creator should do. He needs to start basically trying to branch this game out besides the Steam and YouTube audience, because
Spin-offs.
everybody what
It's on mobile.
what Lawrence but what Lawrence is just talking about is basically saying that we've reached market saturation. So everybody that knows about it knows about it. So now he needs to figure out a way to get it to other, like a console or some other way to do that.
The Wii.
So the Wii, perfect.
Actually, yeah, the
That'd
gamepad.
be pretty good.
Yeah, the Wii would be a perfect idea. But
Well, it's already on mobile, so
so it's kind of the same.
it's already
thing.
on a bigger. It's already hitting a bigger audience and has a better platform than the Wii U.
Is it the same game though? It is,
I
right?
haven't played it on mobile. Have you seen it on mobile, Spoole? Well, let's find out. I'll install it.
No,
So,
that's not.
I think it's also funny because we're all saying it's on mobile and none of us have played it.
No, I played the first one,
Right,
and then
we
I
all
think
know
we
it's-
We play it only to get a YouTube video out of it.
Yeah.
It was a good
Why don't
game.
you play games for fun anymore, Adam?
I don't know. I was kind of morbidly curious. I don't like scary games,
No,
so
you don't.
whatever.
That's why it was funny to watch you play it.
Well, there
I
are
think you're onto something. We got a new business model here.
oh, there are a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's books.
Books?
Yeah. Let's see here. Five Nights at Freddy's, hilarious memes and other funny stuff.
I only read official Five Nights books.
This is as expensive as the game.
Yeah. So where's the game?
Well, it's on mobile. Here, I'll buy it. It's $3.
Here, I'll buy it.
I mean,
If I play my cards right, I can get a refund before the end of the podcast.
It's gonna be the same game too. Like
Sure.
It's gonna be exactly the same.
All right. So anyway,
But-
so the guy announced the fourth one.
Yeah.
And it's not going to make as much money, but he's still going to be filthy rich.
What? Yeah, but what?
Okay.
So the ultimate, what I think is very elegant about this situation is, people rail against big publishers for driving
point.
big
Yes.
franchises into the ground, like Assassin's Creed. Except Assassin's Creed sells really well year over year. Nobody's pissed at the Five Nights guy, even though series sales of that series are dying. He's not really adding much each new game. That's unfair to say.
Well, that's because he's an indie developer. So like,
Sure.
you can't be mad at him.
And it's so cheap.
And he's not holding back with DLC pre-orders and
He's not charging you $60 for
Yeah.
each one.
That's
There's
true.
no DLC.
his messaging is so simple that you can't fault him. It's like, here's the game, it's done.
Yeah.
It's a sequel, it's out, it's cheap. There's no PR messaging, there's no big
You know
E3
you're getting
reveal, and the audience isn't as big as something like an Assassin's Creed
That's
or
true.
Destiny or something. So there's going to be less scathing opinions.
Well, yeah, that's true. The sales numbers though are telling you that people don't care about it anymore, and they're like slowly it's going away.
Sure.
And the reason is because he's not like Assassin's Creed was able to add different things year over year that
Yeah.
were like, oh, look, like there's boats.
That's a good
like-
story.
And be marketed. I don't know about a good story.
no, there's no good. The stories are.
It's very dense, so it gives the people that want that a lot to dig into.
Also, Five Nights is pretty much, it's not exactly prone to any sort of like glitches or issues, right? Because the game is so simple. There's nothing really
guess
that
you're right,
breaks.
yeah.
You wouldn't notice them.
There's no Unity
Yeah,
issues
and
there.
so it's not a very complicated game. So once you get into like Arkham City territory or Arkham Knight territory, where it's like there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
Things will go wrong for different people, for different systems. Five Nights at Freddy's works on your goddamn cell phone, so you're not going to have as many issues, and you're just not going to see so many people complaining.
So, by the way, I feel like I should make a statement of clarity right now. I'm just finding curiosities here. I'm not making a statement
Oh,
about
right.
whether or not the developer of Five Nights is doing something good or bad.
Yeah.
So I'm noting inconsistencies in player behavior and opinion, which I think is really
He donated a
fascinating.
bunch of money to charity, so everyone's going to love him forever.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I thought he did. He donated like a shitload of money.
Well, I don't know.
I forget to who. Pedophilias of America.
NAMBLA.
yeah, that's what it was.
Donated to NAMBLA. I think also the vocal minority isn't as loud for this game because of what Adam just said, which is number one, it's such a small game. There are very few issues. And number two, it's not selling well.
Well,
So now nobody gives a shit.
It's like if you go to Firefly Con, there's not going to be a lot of people complaining about Firefly.
That's true.
They're all going to be there going, isn't Firefly great? Ooh, nice. That's just what it is. But when you go to Comic Con, you're going to get a lot of people complaining about
Right.
the Batman versus Superman trailer, even though they have no business to complain about it.
It's too early to talk about that, Adam.
I know. I'm just saying.
Shouldn't his name be Spaceman Spliff?
Also, it's Batman v Superman.
Just saying that would be fun.
Well, I mean, I guess it's just a small fish, big pond.
There you go.
Scenario, big fish, small pond. But
Yeah.
again, if this guy wants to continue making games, which I'm assuming he does, and want to sell a lot of games, he's got to figure out something else other than
Maybe he's bored of it. Maybe.
Five Nights.
I was going to say, he's fine. I don't
Yeah.
think he got Flappy Bird money. Like, he's good.
I'm sure he's fine, but just like all the rest of us, we want to capitalize on that success and keep
Yeah.
going. So
that's an interesting point too, and then again I guess means that there's some invulnerability that comes with being an indie. But so back in Jesus
that
Christ,
was a good score.
Big
back-
man split.
back in the heyday of like music games, everybody was super pissed at Activision for just driving a nail into Guitar Hero. They over-released it, maybe oversaturated. But the mentality when it comes to indie devs is like, hey man, get the money when you can.
Yeah.
Which to me is always how I interpreted Activision's approach to Guitar Hero. I think they knew that it was timed, so
they
they were
did.
like, we are going to blow this shit up and then put it in the ground when it's done.
Well, the same thing's happening to Five Nights at Freddy's that happened to Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
The sales are having. and-
Activision's running into the ground.
Yeah, I know. And Activision sucks. No, and so that it's going to die, and it's going to die a really, really fast death.
Ooh, good save.
So
What I would like to see, what I think would be really smart, and I think would be kind of a cool indie marketplace strategy is make your very, very low overhead games, push them out as fast and as hard as you can, get all the money, and then sell the IP. Which I guess is just
good point.
good business sense.
Yeah.
But what I would like to see is he makes Five Nights at Freddy's 6, it sells like 10,000 units, and he's like, fuck it, Activision, you can have it.
Yeah.
For like $5 million? I don't care.
Yeah. Didn't they say they're going to make a movie? I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, yes.
Really?
Yeah, you are correct.
Wow.
They did. They did.
That's good. Like,
How do you make a movie out of that?
It has a deep story, Lord.
I mean, it actually does, is the weird thing.
it's there. Well,
Like
'cause
those books.
It wouldn't
kinda-
be first person, yeah. It's like Goosebumps.
It's very old school in the sense that like you'd play a game and you'd just be like a overhead top thing of like a knight walking around. You're like, there's not a lot here, but you had this instruction guide that was this thick, and you'd read it at night before you go to bed and be like, there's a lot of story here. Like, yeah, there sure is. The original Warcraft. I remember the booklet explaining like the fight between the orcs and the portal and all this stuff. I'm like, none of that I really got from the game because the opening CGI thing was so bad. And then they had to like make up for it with all this lore. That's what Five Nights at Freddy's does. It's like,
Right, well, it
they
works
don't-
on phone,
it-
just so you guys know.
We did it.
Yeah. Oh, you're playing it?
Yeah,
Good podcast.
thanks.
Two different guys playing two different games while two other guys talk about Batman.
We're
Next
gamers,
hour.
Adam.
Well, this is a podcast about video games.
Seriously.
To be fair.
Oh, shit, what a save.
Yeah, that was a really good save.
Sorry, audio-only listeners. You're missing out.
On Rocket Power.
Yeah.
Rocket
I
Power.
think they can understand what's happening
I'm sure.
based on our.
R.I.P. Tim Curry, because this is awesome.
He's not dead.
He's not?
He just had
No.
a stroke.
Call him. Did he recently? That's
shit.
Not
did?
recently, but a
Wow,
while
I
ago.
bet you feel like an asshole.
Who?
Wow.
No, I don't. I mean, people have strokes all the time.
Strokes all the time.
I mean, people are stroking left and right. I can't help that.
He was in Clue,
out.
Adam.
I don't know whether or not
Show
to
some
be
respect.
envious of someone who is like genuinely good at this game or disappointed.
Why? It looks like a fun game to be good at.
It is.
I know, but there's this dude JM who just like
Yeah, I know.
knows exactly how to point it and is like setting up plays and shit.
Do you think he's wearing like
dude, go outside and play soccer.
he's wearing like
He's the Pele of Rocket Power.
Maybe he used to play soccer and lost
Yeah.
both his legs in like
Man.
a terrible soccer
in
accident.
50 years EA is going to have him at their E3 conference.
Well, I like this game right now because it just. This is what video games in my
JM
brain
is
are like.
whooping
Should be.
ass.
They take an idea that's, should be fun, soccer. And then you play games like
be
FIFA.
fun.
Well, like
If only somebody could crack this soccer thing.
this is just me speaking. I'm not speaking on behalf of the world,
Yeah,
but
I
like
know.
I don't like the FIFA games. They're not fun for me.
Gold.
I don't enjoy that. This is fun.
Goalie.
This is cool.
Yeah,
You're
this looks like a lot more fun.
you're a car hitting a ball. Like it's
Damn.
Look at this.
What the?
You can't move laterally at all, right? Like
No.
the wheels. Okay.
maybe get different vehicles.
Man, being a goalie would be tough in this thing.
Anyway,
Fuck you, JM. Jesus, he like hip
got
checked
a
it.
halo.
God damn.
he's the best.
Well-
Maybe reverse and like goaltend a little bit.
That's what I just tried to do.
Oh.
The rest of my team though, they go
Well, you can't, you
but then
can't.
they don't. Then they leave.
So to goaltend, you'd have to turn your car sideways so you can move forward and back across the goal,
Oh,
right?
yeah, but
Nice
yeah.
save.
Then you can't see the ball.
Well, no, ball cam will always have it centered on the ball.
Yeah, and there's also an arrow on the front of your car.
Jesus.
Oh,
That
blue
was
one.
bad.
Well, you got a lot of achievements though. That's good.
Everybody down to play?
Yeah, here.
Yeah,
You
go,
lost
please, Bruce.
spectacularly. Here you
Yeah.
go. Hot shot.
So it seems to me that like Five Nights is one of those things where, and I've been very fascinated by this like emerging model where people want a game to exist so they can watch other people play it.
Yeah.
And I think Five Nights is rapidly approaching that. Nobody really wants to buy it. Oh, a lot of people want to buy it. I think 200,000 is enough for an indie dev. But it may get to the point where, PewDiePie is doing a Five Nights at Freddy's 6 video. It still gets 10 million views. People still want to see that content, but there's not enough retail power to keep making the game. So will it ever come out, or will we ever get the sort of market where people will pay or crowdfund a game so they can watch it be played? Or do you think it'll ever get to the point where like PewDiePie directly contacts the maker of the game and says, I will fund part of this game because it's such a driver of audience?
Just like when Notch made Psychonauts 2.
Or maybe like the YouTuber or whatever would split revenue with the creator
Yeah,
or
well,
whatever.
yeah.
Didn't we theorize on that in terms of Five Nights at Freddy's? Like, didn't we think that he was contacting PewDiePie and maybe like possibly doing some sort of deal with him? I'm sure that's already happened.
Well, so that's that's theoretically post-release, which is like I've made this game.
Oh, I meant pre-release for like
Yeah.
the next Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
I
planning ahead of time.
I hope something like that's
I don't know.
happening. That'd be really cool.
We're at a really weird point. Our jobs are included in this, but we're in a place now where games can either be fun to play or fun to watch, and sometimes won't be really in the middle.
Yeah.
There are specific games that people will rather watch someone else play rather than play themselves. That's strange, but it's cool at the same time, just because it's the evolution of this industry and what it is. Games used to exclusively just be about like, you just play it. Now you're explaining to a much older adult that like, oh, your kid is just watching someone play a game. They have no interest in actually playing it themselves. They're like, I don't understand. This makes no sense to me.
Then nowadays you have like those weird hybrid games that are starting to come out where it's like people will watch through Twitch, but they can like enter in commands or say stuff and mess with your game itself.
Very
I've played
cool.
a couple of them like that, and they're interesting.
It's all evolving.
There's some horror game that I just played. What was it called? But they could enter in like witch or enter in stuff, and it would like make things pop up and scare the shit out of me. And that was fun. It was
take
fun
your
for
shirt
me
off?
as the streamer, and I'm sure it's fun for them. Just they're like, hey, because they'd always say like, hey, I did that. Like I called the witch.
Oh,
But
I see what you're saying.
They wouldn't just spam it though, so you're just getting spooked all the time, and then it's not spooky
It's
anymore.
weird. I think it had filters in the game because there'd be bursts sometimes.
And would it tell you like on screen
No,
where
it
it came
didn't.
from?
So I didn't know, like, who
so
was
everybody
doing
just
that.
like, I did that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know, that dynamic always made sense to me, because when I was in like college, I would just hang out with my friends and we'd all be in a living room and one person would be playing a game and we'd all just be like kind of hanging out, talking and watching the game.
Yeah.
So it was sort of the emergence that I see in Twitch is everybody's just kind of hanging out in chat, being social, and then there is a game on. And it's a conversation starter, but it's not necessarily the focus of everything.
There might even be an intimidation aspect to it. So like, I remember when I was a kid, I was at like someone's birthday party and I saw like one of the older kids was playing Legend of Zelda on Nintendo.
Man. Yeah.
And I had only played like Mario and like some Atari games and stuff like that. So like I saw that looked super intimidating. And it was more fun to watch this guy fight, a Triceratops with a sword.
It was scary.
It was kind of scary. It was a little too much. Or like the Friday the 13th NES video game. It was like, I'd rather watch an older kid play than play it myself. I would just play Tetris. But like there was that aspect too, where like there's a new series out there. It might be intimidating for some people, and it's easier for them just to watch it.
There's different kinds of like YouTube channels or Twitch channels or whatever, what have you, where like sometimes you watch a YouTuber just because they're really good at like something that you can't do. They're like so good at, whether it's like Mortal Kombat, like you guys watch
Rocket Power.
Maximilian or whatever. Like
yeah.
They're really good at like games that you also play. Like you'll watch them because it's super entertaining.
Yeah, you can learn.
Because you can learn stuff and just see their tactics, techniques. Like there's a guy named Preparian on Twitch that's been there forever, and I personally don't enjoy his streaming style, but like thousands of people will watch him because he was like so good at Diablo originally and like WoW and
called his ass out.
and now Hearthstone and whatever else. But people love watching him because he's really good at like
Spoole hates this guy.
Spoole,
he's good at theory crafting.
hear it?
I don't get it, but
Scathing.
His personality is boring.
How does somebody be good at Diablo?
He was like world first, like hardcore, whatever person.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I just
there's rankings.
I just saw this story. It was like an esports guy was talking about how all the guys are on Adderall when they when they're like.
I've been waiting for a
CS:GO or
substance
something.
abuse scandal in esports.
that's awesome.
Yeah, well, so Adderall is the one that keeps you up, right? Or keeps you focused.
It keeps you focused.
It's basically Ritalin or something like that. Sort of,
Well,
or
so
no?
like there's such a fine line there because like Red Bull sponsors esports events.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking medical dose of caffeine.
blocked my own goal.
Yeah, I mean when esports blew up in like 2011, I was doing my crappy little column about it. Yeah, there was some deal about how.
Bitterness.
Well, no, not bitterness. I mean, maybe bitterness in the fact that esports became something kind of dumb and stupid.
So V boost. So don't tell me to do that.
I know. I was telling you to boost so you could get
Boost
in front
around
of
it.
it.
Well, I know if you told me to go around it, because I don't know what B does.
I'll
This is
explain
first
the
time I
whole
played-
process
Since
next
the first time I played the game.
Oh, the
No one told me
replay.
anything.
Replay showed you tipping it
No one
in.
told Adam anything.
Well, you told me to do it, so I did it.
I only bring up the Adderall story thing just because they were talking about how Curse or these other networks would like sponsor people to be like Diablo first, something like that. So that's and it was like first guy to do this one thing. So like being good at Diablo doesn't necessarily always mean like a PvP type sort of thing. It's just sort of like
Oh shit!
yeah.
There's a ranking system.
I don't know. It'd be like the first guy to get like a certain bounty in
Nice.
Destiny or something like that, or like the first person to the
Yeah,
first
like beat
raid.
Prison of Elders on
Yeah,
35.
like
There was a big deal.
Nice.
I know.
Oh!
Good job, Bruce. You redeemed yourself.
Bleh.
You gotta kill yourself.
Well, now that I know what the buttons do.
Okay,
No
so
one told any of the rest of us.
I
what
know
the
that's why.
buttons do.
Exactly. I didn't butt it on your game.
this is a weekly occurrence, but this is my the world is
right.
turning cyberpunk moment of the week.
Oh yeah.
And that's
I'm reading Snow Crash, so
when
that's
people
good.
when people are fucking like grinding up Adderall and sprinkling it in their eyes just so they can be the first person in the world to beat Diablo on hard.
Yeah.
That's cyberpunk as fuck, and that's awesome.
Getting pretty cyberpunk.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Yeah. Now you just need to name yourself hero protagonist and walk around with 2 swords
Yeah.
because you're so cool.
I'm so cool.
Oh,
no, a
man.
sword and a gun.
I was trained in
And a hacking deck and a
ton
Sony
of
Pixis.
ways,
I don't know what's
man.
happening.
Adam,
What's
but speaking of games being intimidating, do you want to hear a sad story about me being a little baby and The Legend of Zelda?
I don't know why you ask
I
a
do.
question that you know the answer to.
All right. So I rented Legend of Zelda from the video rental store, and this was when I was like, I want to say like 5. So my head couldn't really wrap around the concept of Zelda. I was used to run
Is
to the
it
right.
a girl or a boy? I don't get it.
It wasn't even that. It's just like the concept of freedom in a game was very intimidating.
I think the concept of renting should be beyond any 5-year-old. But
Well, I
go
wanted
on.
video games, and I
He
figured that
plopped
one
down
out.
his
Yeah.
$100 bill. And
Mom, Dad, I'm walking to the store by myself. They're like, "Who said that?"
Listen, my allowance was $3 a week for chores, and that went to 1 video rental a week. Game rental, actually.
no food.
So, no food, no clothes.
All right.
I was a weird kid. But so rented Zelda. It had a save. It has a save on it where dude had all the items, and I couldn't figure out how to get into the first dungeon. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would load up the save and just basically like throw around the boomerang and stuff. And then like my sister really liked throwing around the boomerang too, so we bonded over throwing the boomerang. But there was like one point, I don't even know why I did it, but somehow I was just like digging through the menus and I deleted that save.
Ooh.
And that freaked me out so hard,
Man.
that I ran into the bedroom, jumped on my bed, and started crying. Because the boomerang was gone. It's gone forever, and I don't know how to get it back.
And then your sister hated you.
Well,
and she still
$5
hates you to
gone.
this day because you got rid of the boomerang.
That's the thing. I was so worried that she was going to hate me, but I don't think she even cared or knew.
So when you went back, you only got Weekend at Bernie's, and that was it.
Yeah, it was just Weekend
Okay.
at Bernie's every weekend.
You're like, Weekend at Bernie's doesn't delete the boomerang.
No, it doesn't.
It's always there for you.
I got Crocodile Dundee because it was closer to
What
boomerangs.
routine of story?
I don't know what the fuck anyone's talking about.
Well, I was talking because he went to the video rental store to rent a game.
But what?
I think they're
That's
just,
where you rent games.
Where you
in the
rent
80s.
That's where you rent
because there were
games.
no game
Are they
rentals.
just
stores.
reminiscing? Is that what's going on?
Well,
Yeah, I
the
think so.
joke being that he was tired of that rental, so he said, "I'm just gonna." Why do I have to explain the joke to you guys?
Anyway, my favorite Rocket Power episode is the one where their little friend,
Tim
who
Curry
looks-
has a stroke.
He's got their little blonde friend finds out that he's actually good at something and he's not a total waste of life.
That's a nice episode.
Also, that's weird, James, because you and I are about the same age,
Yeah.
and I never watched Rocket Power League.
Yeah, I didn't either, actually.
Yeah, I think I remember that
That
being.
just means that your youth was worse than mine.
But
It really
I
does
think-
sound like
I
that
think
in a lot of
we're- I mean,
ways.
well, no, I remember it being on television, but not being very good. Like,
But you said you didn't watch it.
Ooh.
like I saw like I think I've
The
seen a
story's
total.
conflicted.
I don't,
Yeah,
well,
I
I've
know.
seen an episode and I was like, this isn't good,
Shit.
so I didn't watch it.
Battle
So you
Kid.
watched one thing and you made a judgment call on the whole
Right, saying
thing.
the same thing about Power
This
Rangers.
podcast is tearing us apart. It's really this
It's
is a real
okay. I
problem.
just
we all need to get on Rocket League and settle our differences.
Oh, James, speaking of Rocket Power.
Yeah.
enjoyed Invader Zim.
I had an amusing. Well, it's just a one-liner, so I'm not going to build it up. Basically, it was over July 4th. I was picking out a party playlist. Somebody suggested Mbop as a seed.
Okay.
So 4 songs in, they played the title song for S Club 7.
Oh, nice.
And I heard that and I was like, I should know what this is, but fuck me, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Because James is a maven of shit media.
I think we all are.
I like
at
a
some
maven.
point.
And I like the
We just have our specialties.
We do,
Shit
yeah.
media is not a narrow field.
You're right.
By
There's
the
a whole
way.
lot of it, turns
There's a
out.
lot. Like how Bruce tweeted me and he was like, actually, the new Nick Jonas album's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you know what? Also,
jealous?
Hanson, still good. Well,
Still good?
they became good. They basically sound like Matchbox 20, which is pretty cool.
Wait, hold on. All these things you're saying don't make any sense.
Yeah.
I like Matchbox 20, shut up.
I get that's fine.
Rob Thomas is an expert musician.
My mom really loves Rob Thomas, but she always
Certain
she always has
women
the
love
conceit-
Rob Thomas.
She always has the conceit that, but he is a chain smoker.
That's such a mom thing to
He
say.
was a bad boy.
No, he is not.
Nice, good
wow.
score.
Nice.
That was a good
3-3.
score.
Well, it's a good game.
But speaking of shit media,
Hi.
we saw some trailers at Comic-Con dropping bombs.
Well, we weren't at Comic Con. We
No.
saw some trailers
Yeah, on the
from
internet.
Comic
No,
Con.
we
we didn't have to wait in line for 7
I was
hours
say we ended up seeing more trailers than anyone at Comic Con
like rats
because
and
we didn't go
roaches.
to Comic Con.
because Alpha Nerd leaked it.
We do need people to
Thanks,
continue
Alvin.
going to Comic Con so that way they can leak the trailers so that way we can just watch them from the comfort of YouTube.
Don't worry, that'll always happen.
I forget who it was. There was some website years ago who gave the best cinematography award to some kid who leaked the Iron Man trailer. He's like, he held that cell phone like a pro.
Not like the fucking Alpha Nerd.
Yeah, Alpha Nerd.
Can we shout out Alpha Nerd right now?
Shout outs to Alpha Nerd.
Way possible.
Are we not doing that?
Can you make your logo bigger?
Yeah, he put he put his giant watermark all over the X-Men trailer, and then he couldn't even hold the camera still for more than 2 seconds. So he's like, "I'm the one you want to hate." Nice work, Alpha Nerd.
Good job, Alpha Nerd.
I just bought that new GoPro, the tiny one,
Yeah.
the like little 1-inch one.
Nice.
I'm curious how much easier it's going to be to like to leak these sorts of trailers and stuff.
Oh,
And it's just
Bionic?
like,
I still-
you can just wear it around your neck,
I still
like you
under-
can just hide it like a
I
necklace.
still don't understand why they don't put the trailers out like the next day or like.
They're trying to be
Because
secret.
Shortly
no,
afterward.
they're trying to give the people that went to
Yeah.
Comic-Con
I know,
the
but it's
exclusive.
24 hours.
Well,
Like,
so-
No, but that's bullshit.
That's how long they were in line waiting to
nice.
see that trailer.
Well, I have a theory for you.
Ow.
So specifically the Suicide Squad trailer, I watched that and I was like, that was not a very
Yeah.
good trailer, but it makes all the sense in the world if that was cut specifically for Comic-Con attendees.
Well,
Because
yeah.
it was basically like, this person's in it, and this person,
Right.
and this other person that you know about.
It's just a series of winks.
Yeah. And that's why it's
Well, also every single shot
Not
in that
necessarily.
trailer, almost, we have seen a leaked like photo from someone's apartment
yeah.
at some point, like Batman on top of the car, or like the Joker, or a million other things. So it's like now we're just seeing the moving version of it.
Sure.
So they clearly have been like scrambling to film all this stuff just to have something to show.
Well, there's a huge difference between the trailer for X-Men. I didn't watch Deadpool, and the trailer
I
for
didn't know Deadpool was out.
Suicide Squad. There's
I
a
think-
huge difference between those and the Batman v Superman trailer. The
Yeah.
Batman v Superman trailer was this clear focus.
that's an actual
They're
trailer.
like, we have the movie.
Well, the movie's coming
right?
out in March.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
we have the movie, and so we know what pieces we can put in to basically set the tone for the whole film and kind of give you a rundown without spoiling everything for you, right? Whereas, like Lawrence is saying, the Suicide Squad was just, here's a bunch of stuff. Here's a song that's supposed to,
Yeah.
like, we're going to use a song because we're not really sure what the tone of this movie is, and so the song is going to be the tone, but...
Well, WB, the strategy there was that they released Batman v Superman for everybody.
Yeah.
So they showed it to everybody, and it was obvious that it was a trailer for everyone.
Yeah.
This is also
Like you said,
the
Suicide Squad was only for Comic-Con, so when it got leaked, WB really didn't have a choice. They,
Yeah.
had, they had to put out this trailer that wasn't for everybody.
yeah.
yeah,
And as
the
far-
director wasn't happy about that.
as far as Deadpool goes, it's like...
Shouldn't they assume that it's going to happen pretty much?
They should at this
Yeah.
point.
They absolutely
It
should.
happens every year.
It does, but
Like,
so the only time that didn't happen, and I'm still surprised that it didn't, was when they showed Doom at Comic-Con, or sorry, QuakeCon, which granted about a tenth of the attendance. I'm just saying it was a behind
There's
closed
a
doors.
reason,
No,
there's a
Yeah.
reason why, Lawrence.
no, I'm just saying it was behind closed doors demo.
I don't
Also
understand.
because the
Everyone
panel was
loves
empty.
Doom.
no.
It's the only time a piece of media was shown behind closed doors and stayed there. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not making any comment.
Their phone was like,
Yeah, we don't need this.
Yeah.
I've also.
I'm out of space,
I'm out,
just like
I'm out of
Swipe.
space, exactly. I've also heard though that they showed like the Star Wars footage that they showed. They showed more Star Wars footage than we actually saw.
Really?
So that's what I've heard. And also,
Also, the Battlefront stuff that you guys saw at the.
I saw Battlefront stuff that nobody saw. Although they,
Well, that wasn't in a theater, though, was it?
it was in, well, it was in a controlled environment of about 50 people.
different.
Boo!
What I mean is like in Hall H, if you're gonna show off a big trailer in there,
Yeah,
you
like-
gotta expect that you're gonna have your trailer.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Well, again, I think that has happened before. I think there are pieces of media that we haven't seen. We just don't know about.
No.
You know, like
The
that's-
Minions.
It's
movie that was
usually-
leaked last year.
Right,
Ugh.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, but then also the Batman v Superman thing. That's the third showing that's had at Comic Con. The very first
That's a
time
good
was when
point.
they revealed the logo. Last year was the leaked footage of him, like it was all CGI, but it was like the rooftop scene, and that leaked out, and like,
Oh,
people
yeah.
were going nuts over it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie's coming out in March. They need to have something. Like it's just that time where it's like, yeah, of course I had a trailer. Suicide Squad just started filming like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently a lot of that was, I don't know if it's temp, but it's probably going to look different.
It's cool. It's cool, but at the same time, like I'm glad that we haven't gotten into the E3 syndrome, where developers have to make an E3 demo.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone lost their shit for Uncharted, and I'm the wrong person to ask about it. But I was like,
That's the E3 demo part of the
yeah,
game.
they made that. They made that knowing that they were going to show that at that E3. What is like?
Huh.
What does it necessarily have to do with anything else? And also, it's not really a game. Like if they showed that at Comic Con, I'd be like, oh, I really want to see that movie.
But isn't that what they're kind of doing with like Suicide Squad and stuff like that, where it's like a trailer made for?
Yeah, that's what they're-
Well,
Exactly
no,
what-
I
exactly.
think they had pieces they had pieces of a movie that isn't done, and they were like, well, we have to put something.
Yeah, let's just throw it together.
So let's put something together, which is why it's kind of all over the place.
We're not showing like a super high like production value scene or something like that.
Well, it looks pretty high production.
But they're showing it.
Costumes
They're
were
showing
good.
it for the fans. They like we just said, they cut it together for the fans. They didn't cut it together for the whole United States.
And so
or
when
the
I
world.
when I first saw the Suicide Squad trailer, and Spoole, this probably answers the first question you asked. Why don't they just release it for everybody? Because I thought it looked crappy. Because it wasn't for me. I expected like. Tell me why I should go see this movie instead of tell me who's in this movie, which is what the Comic-Con audience wants.
Which is funny.
Here's this person.
Yeah,
and here's that person.
I think because the room's been pretty torn, I'm the only one who I think has been like, I love this trailer. I love everything about it. And
You were the intended audience for that trailer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I see Harley Quinn on screen. I'm like, yep, that's it. And for every person who's like, Joker's got tattoos, they ruined him. I'm like, well, you don't know anything about the Joker, so whatever. Like, this isn't for you.
Ooh!
Joker
dropping
actually has
mics.
a bunch of tattoos.
No, it doesn't fucking
here's-
matter because the character's always interesting in pretty much any way he's portrayed.
Well, here's
so,
the problem
deal.
with knowing a lot of things is that a lot of people that see this movie aren't going to know anything about Suicide Squad. So
You
it
gotta
has to
get
be a
them.
good movie.
They got to get a larger audience.
It doesn't matter whether or not the Joker doesn't have tattoos.
Well,
Like,
I can't.
it has to be. It has to have the right reason.
Who brought up the comparison to Guardians of the Galaxy? That
James.
yeah, like nobody knew any of those characters. Well, I would venture a large part of the movie-going audience didn't know anything about any of those
Absolutely,
characters,
yeah.
and the movie did a great job introducing them, contextualizing them.
Yeah.
The problem is,
Talking
yeah,
raccoon.
Suicide Squad does like assume a lot because they're all villains, which typically
I don't think it assumes anything. I think they're using the Joker.
Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, who gives a fuck Captain Boomerang? Like I like that because I think they have
Lawrence does.
Well, I mean,
He was in Lego
the
Batman, and I laughed.
The counterpoint to that is people liked Rocket Raccoon and Groot. Just after seeing the trailer, they found them endearing from that. Star-Lord, who, listen, I like comic books, but who gives a shit about Star-Lord, came off as the new Han Solo once you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
Yeah.
This is just like, here's Joker. He said a Joker-y thing. Here's Harley Quinn. She's hanging upside down. Like it wasn't necessarily things that said, yes, these are the characters you know, and yes, you're gonna love them. It was just like, yes, these are the characters you know. You know?
Well, what I like about it is it's obviously much more of an adult tone than Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's true.
And the fact, if you know,
Ooh!
you son of a
WB,
bitch.
of course.
Well, it's also
So close.
The beauty of Suicide Squad is any character can die. Harley Quinn and Joker
true.
won't.
Yeah.
You know that, but any of the other B characters like Katana or Killer Croc or Captain Boomerang
they all
or
know.
Who's the guy?
Man.
Who was the guy that Michael J. White played in Arrow? The dude with the claws. What's his name? Bronze Tiger.
I forget. Yeah. Shit. Wolverine. No, you have something Tiger. I think. I don't remember.
either way.
Only one episode.
So
He's
all
cool,
all the characters basically have explosives like sewn into their necks, so
Right.
they can
Ooh.
oh, nice shot.
hit it with my ass. So yeah, I like the idea that they already did a Suicide Squad animated feature is based in the Arkham universe, and it's pretty cool because there's one character, never heard of him, some villain, and they're like, all right, does anyone not want to go along with this Suicide Squad mission? This guy's like, fuck it, I'm out, and they blow his head off, and it's like, cool, I want to see that in a movie.
Yeah.
Well, again, you have a lot of context to this. That,
Like, and it was for me. It was clearly
well,
for me.
I was going to say for
Me
me
alone.
For me, I sort of have the context in the sense that I've been watching the shows on WB or CW.
Yeah.
That still doesn't help me when I watch that trailer. And Joel made a really good point yesterday where he was like, you know, this is what I said about the Star Wars trailer, which was the Star Wars trailer is not showing what anything is. It's just like a bunch of characters you know.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that, because I thought about this morning. Everybody knows what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what Star Wars is. Suicide Squad, they don't. They have no idea. So
Harley Quinn has only existed as a cartoon for the last, whatever, 20 years.
and Star Wars exists
That's
for almost
it.
40, and it's
Yeah.
also, you know, like arguably the largest pop culture thing ever. That's what I'm saying. Suicide Squad, not many people know what it is.
I look forward to the Suicide Squad video game.
No, it'll be terrible.
Yeah.
Here's how I liken the stakes. Harry Potter 4, right? This is when Harry Potter was an established franchise. A lot of
tied it up.
people had read the books, but people like me, moviegoers who were just watching the movies, hadn't been like, I'm going to read all these books just so that way I can get context on the movies. And 4 is about the point where they said, fuck it. We're not going to adapt anything. We're just going to flip through and we're going to film this page, and then we're going to film this page, and then go a couple more, film this page. So, like, at the end of Harry Potter 4, spoiler, Cedric Diggory
dies. Yeah.
dies.
Yeah.
And I was watching the movie going, who is that guy?
Yeah, who cares?
Like, and everyone's like, oh my god, and then they're a game changer for the Harry Potter universe, and I'm like, who was he?
Yeah.
Like the guy that was mean to Harry that once, like they weren't even really friends. That like the relationship wasn't set up at all. Everyone who had read the books had all the context, and they were like, "Oh my God, he's dead!" You know, like, and he was also cast. He was also cast as a beautiful British boy.
Oh,
Wait, it didn't go in.
Oh, nice.
You blocked it. Nice job.
I'm the best.
So right
At
now,
Quidditch.
looking at Suicide Squad, I see it as a Cedric Diggory. It is a bunch of people. If Captain
break away.
Boomerang dies, that's cool that he can die. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I don't. You have to.
I don't
give
know.
me a
I mean,
reason.
when Groot, quote unquote, died, people cared.
Yeah,
because
because
the movie made you
the
care.
movie established that you
Yeah,
care.
so
sure.
I think Adam's
That's the
making
whole-
the
that's my
point.
whole
Well, I'm
It's
saying,
still, it's time
I mean,
to be a
we're
good
both
movie.
kind of in the middle. We're like,
Yeah.
Captain Boomerang could be the most endearing character in movie cinema history. We don't know if that's true.
We're not reviewing the movie. We're reviewing the trailer.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then the trailer doesn't do anything to make me care whether or not if any of those people die.
Boomerangs
Honestly,
always
like,
come back,
I
just
care
like
if Will
loved
Smith
ones.
dies because I like Will Smith.
Like he's hugging his daughter in
I'm
that one shot. And
almost
you're like, he's a
positive.
villain, but he also has a daughter.
Yeah.
Almost positive Will Smith will die, actually.
Don't say that.
No criminals have ever had children before.
Like Sandman. One thing I really liked about the Suicide Squad trailer, it's a little out there, but they did finally legitimize the fact that Joker and Harley Quinn have a super like sadomasochistic relationship.
Love it.
That was always implied in the cartoons, and now he's like, I'm going to torture you and you're going to like it. And I was like, okay, that's way more adult than what was being implied. Well, not in necessarily, but I like it.
See BDSM. That's
Basically,
Oh.
yeah. Well, I like.
As long as it's done well.
50 Shades of Grey can go fuck
Yeah, I
itself.
was gonna say.
literally.
Damn it.
Well, right.
Abusive relationship.
That is. And I think like Joker and Harley Quinn's is a very abusive relationship too, but they're villains. Like it's not supposed to be portrayed as a healthy.
Well,
villain.
and they also, I like this world because they're already establishing that Joker is established in this world. With
Yeah,
the Batman
yeah.
v Superman trailer, they're showing what could essentially be Jason Todd or Dick Grayson, depending, or actually it may have been
Well,
Tim Drake because he's got the
here's-
pole. But they showed the Robin outfit
Yeah.
with Joker writing on it.
and it had
so-
bullet holes in
I
it.
didn't know it was a Robin outfit.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I didn't. I watched the trailer. I was like, neat.
It wasn't
Like,
colored like
Oh,
it
no,
was
no,
a
no.
Robin.
This isn't Batman v Superman.
Yeah, this isn't Batman v Superman.
No, I know. I didn't know it was a Robin outfit.
Really?
No.
It wasn't-
Haha, joke's on you, and it has a big R on it.
I didn't see the art.
The R is actually pretty hard to see because
Yeah,
it's spray
it is,
painted over.
yeah.
But yeah, if you look at that shot, and this is the thing that's getting me more and more excited for Batman v Superman at least, is the amount of detail they're putting into the world. They're basically implying a whole like 40 years of comic book arc and narrative
I hope so.
into these movies. Which
Yeah,
is
that,
pretty cool.
that was always a tough thing with the Chris Nolan stuff that we've talked about, where it's like he basically
tennis ball.
the movie Batman operated like a scalpel. He was like a surgeon.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going to train myself for 7 years and then I'm going to knock out all crime in like a weekend.
Yeah.
This one, looks like Batman's been around long enough that he even retired.
Yeah.
And they're doing a very Dark Knight Returns style thing where now Batman's coming out of retirement because he's got to put this alien menace down. And I'm like, I love this. I really love what they're doing with this idea.
Not a
Well,
menace.
it's funny because like I'll say the same about Batman that I said about Star Wars. Everybody knows what Batman is, and everybody knows that Batman's parents had died. So it's one of those.
Spoiler.
That being said,
They're still showing it though. Remember
know.
that shot
Yeah,
in the
but how did they die? first?
I don't care, and that's what I'm saying is that
Criminals.
People now know that criminals killed Bruce Wayne's parents. We don't need to see it for the 10th time.
Yes,
we
you
are
do.
going to see it
Yeah.
for the 10th
Yeah.
It's in the movie.
It's in the trailer.
Well,
And
hold
that-
on. There might be some context. We don't know that they're gonna.
It's gonna be Scarecrow gas.
reestablish
Like,
it.
Superman was there.
Yeah, he did it.
There's lasers in the background.
Well, so
We're not
I-
going to reestablish
Nice.
what happened.
that was
Wait,
your
wrong goal.
That's wrong goal.
I think
No,
think
it's just practice.
the potential
Okay.
there is like Bruce Wayne resenting Superman even more because he's like, you were here this whole time and you let my parents die. That's a very easy thing.
I think they're just going to show it again. I think there's going to be a flashback.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
you're
we're
right.
going to see a lot of into Bruce Wayne's psyche
Yeah.
because they basically have to. While we do know Batman, I think that they're going to spend a lot of time going. But this is this Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so doing
apparently
that
he's
is
like
going to be showing him freaking out over the possibility of having to dress up like his militia Red Sun counterpart and fight off Superman army because Superman took over made a totalitarian regime about everything, and then also he's going to think about his parents dying, all kinds of stuff.
I was going to say also, Zack Snyder's a giant nerd. He likes nerdy things, and so he's basically being given an opportunity to refilm one of the most, cinematic or one of the most iconic moments in Batman's history. It's like, fuck yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm not going to pass this up just because Chris Nolan did it.
so Adam,
Self-control.
I am curious about your analysis here. What would change in regards to like a Justice League or a Batman arc, presuming that Batman had never met and didn't know about Superman until Dark Knight Returns. Would that change anything?
I mean, not really. I don't know. Like, in what way? Like,
Well, that's what I'm asking you for. I didn't know if there was any substantial crossover between their storylines, and pre-Dark Knight Returns that might change how that story played out.
yeah, I mean, Dark Knight Returns assumes that they had a past and like a history, and then Superman is put there as a stopgap to basically he's the American Boy Scout who's basically told by Ronald Reagan, like, you need to stop Batman because he's a menace. He's getting in the way of everything, so stop it. And he listens to it, and that's, you see the two different sides. In this world, it's more of they're giving a reason for Batman to come out of retirement. I just like it because they're just mashing everything together, and they're making it its own story. So
Right. Well, that's why I hope they don't have to establish the origin over and over and over, because I just want it to be its own story.
Well, then you got Wonder
Everybody
Woman.
knows what Batman is. Everybody knows what Superman is.
I
Let's move
was
on.
thinking that the other day, and how like we have seen the origin story so many times, but I actually, going back to Man of Steel, it is so necessary because there's a lot of stuff in there. I know people
It's
like
just part of the narrative arc.
well, just the fact that they talk about
Not for this movie.
Well,
That's what I'm trying to
hopefully,
say.
yeah.
Well, they talk about the importance of Krypton and how all the characters, or basically all the inhabitants, have no choice. That was the big tragic thing about Zod, was he had no choice whether he was going to fight or not. He was programmed to.
Yeah.
And Superman is the one who
It's just like the Matrix.
he was born naturally, so he's not pre-programmed to do anything.
He's
And, like,
free, like America.
Well, they set that up, which is very important, and it's going to play in later, especially since they showed Zod's body
yeah.
in the trailer, which is probably going to be like a Doomsday thing or a Brainiac thing.
Oh, what about this?
Well, you've also
They
got,
use Zod's cells to make a Superman army, and they all have to do what he says.
Oh, it's a different Quest for Peace.
Here's the problem with you guys all talking about this. You have a lot of subtext and a lot of context that most people do not.
Man,
And
I don't know shit.
I don't have any of that shit. And also, Man of Steel was unfortunately not that good.
Aw.
So
okay.
it really
It was
wasn't.
the best
And
way
it
they
was,
could do
and
Superman.
it was also reviewed poorly. Regardless, either way, you guys have context for these movies, just like Harry Potter, that I do not. So when I watched Man of Steel, I tried to like it because I like Superman. It just wasn't that good. And unfortunately, all the stuff that you're talking about, was like, like he was born naturally and all this other garbage, like none of that came through in the movie. None of it.
I did.
It did in the beginning.
They said it to your face.
No, it didn't come through in the movie. I saw it 4 fucking times in the theater. it didn't, and it didn't matter that
I can't help you there.
Well,
Sorry.
that's what I'm trying to say. The context versus Zod and Superman, none of that should matter. I was just sort of like,
Oh man, that's what made it so good. It's like that's what gave that
I guess
fight weight.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that the movie's not that
And
good.
I don't know, because so many
So-
people, I just feel like they turn their brains off when they saw the movie. They're like, "Why'd he break his neck? That wasn't good." And it's like, because he didn't have a choice. That was
Yeah.
Zod's whole thing. It was death by cop, like it was suicide by cop.
I didn't ask that question, but either way, I saw the movie a lot because I wanted to like the movie. I really did.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, since then, and it's one of those things that just wasn't.
No, I know. In the same way, the Suicide Squad trailers for me, Man of Steel was not for everyone. I got walked away from that going, like Spoole said, I'm like, this is the best way you can do a Superman film.
It was, yeah.
So-
absolutely. I
yeah.
mean, like, I'm not saying it's.
Superman's not a great character.
I think
Yeah.
this Batman vs Superman, I think, will be much better than Man of Steel.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna. There's not gonna be as many lulls because they have 3, maybe 4 interesting characters to cut between.
Aquaman.
Well,
He
it's,
meant L-U-L-L, not
I don't know.
goes to
Oh,
L-O-L.
my
my,
lulz.
it goes to my theory of movies and franchises.
Ooh.
With the exception of James Bond, you're almost always going to get into a situation where number 2 is the best.
Huh.
Because number 2, you don't have to begin anything and you don't have to end anything. And you can just do what you want to do with the franchise that is without the obligation of writing necessarily.
Lord of the
You
Rings?
can just have fun. I would say Lord
I say
of
Two
the Rings
Towers
2 Towers is definitely the
Yeah.
most fun of all those Lord of the
I
Rings
was gonna say
movies.
Iron Man 2 though.
Iron Man 2 though is a
Temple of
prequel,
Doom?
is the first Avengers movie. That's why Iron Man 2 sucks. Is because they made Iron Man 1 again, but they made it as the first Avengers movie. So like they that's what they established there, and then they didn't resolve anything. So that's why Iron Man 2 doesn't. It begins and it doesn't resolve anything. So it's like the worst offender.
Well, no,
You can further the story without having to worry about exposition or an ending. And that's what
Yeah,
James,
yeah.
that's what James
Yeah,
is
yeah,
saying.
exactly.
And actually, that's why I liked Iron Man 2, because I didn't have to worry about, this is how Iron Man became Iron. I don't give a shit.
For
Like,
some
I
reason,
already know.
I can't explain it, but I remember enjoying Iron Man 2 way more after Avengers came out. And I was like,
Oh, sure, yeah.
because I think of Iron
gave you
Man 2 was
context.
sort of,
Yeah.
it was like sort of like Blue Balls, where you're like, okay, he fought the Electric Whip Man, and nothing really happened.
And you realize that wasn't
Why
the
is it
point
not
of Iron
finding
Man 2.
players?
Right.
The point of Iron Man 2 was setting up S.H.I.E.L.D. so that way they could make Avengers.
Yeah. And after Avengers came out, I was like, because going from Iron Man 2 to Avengers is so much more satisfying than going from Iron Man 2 to nothing. And you're kind of like, oh, my balls hurt. Like,
Can you imagine going from Iron Man 2 to Iron Man 3? You're like, oh my god, worst fucking 3 movies of my life.
Well, again, it gives you context, and that's the thing that I think that you guys aren't necessarily taking into account is that, Adam, you've got like 20 years of DC history under your belt.
I'm 30.
And I know, but you've been reading comics for 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years is not.
Yeah,
Are you saying that's too short? Because that seems.
You think
20 years seems about accurate for you.
Yeah, you've been reading comics since you were 5?
Well, I mean, I think I saw, when did Batman come out? 1989, so I was maybe 5 when I first saw it. I mean, it doesn't just have to be comics.
Adam, I'm curious.
And then I grew up watching the Adam West Batman show.
Oh, that helps.
Nah,
That helps my Man of Steel.
Regardless, all right, so I'm sorry, 30 years of context.
Thank
That
you.
actually helps my argument, but regardless, that's what I'm trying to say is that I don't have those things. So when I go see these movies and I'm like, all right, well, neat, Superman, it was born but not naturally.
I mean,
Cool.
I'll
Like,
make. Yeah.
Who
I mean,
cares?
That's fine.
I don't know.
It doesn't hurt my enjoyment.
No, I'm not. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is that's why people aren't necessarily as excited as you.
Yeah, but that's not I'm not the marketing director at WB. I don't care whether people are excited for it or not. I'm like, cool, someone made something for me. That's nice.
You know what's weird is that I do, and the reason I do care about something like Star Wars is because I want everybody to enjoy it as much as I do.
That's selfish.
No, it's not selfish.
That's actually the
exactly
opposite of
selfish.
I want everybody to
called
be like
selfless.
really super excited about it, and like that's why I'm really excited about J.J. Abrams, even though I'm also very worried.
Really?
But yes, absolutely.
Really?
But it's the same thing with this. Like I want to be able to enjoy Batman as much as Adam enjoys Batman.
Maybe you should find more.
I don't know. I mean, at the same
You got to
time,
read 20 years of comic books.
this
apparently.
goes back to the Budweiser argument.
Batman is a
thing.
MOBA.
When you make something for everyone, you make it for nobody. That sort of
Bollywood.
thing.
That's not true, and we know that's not true.
Well,
Bollywood
not for
is a
Star
case
Wars.
study.
but-
Fast and Furious
but it's not
movies.
true with like Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's not for everybody. It's a space. It's a space.
It's for pretty much everybody.
No
I mean, like
way. It's way too science fiction and way out there.
What about the Minions?
I disagree.
It's for almost all nerds, but it's not for everybody. There is.
Avatar.
100% disagree with you because I think everybody that saw that movie enjoyed it.
Gone with the Wind.
Have you seen a Bollywood? My parents
Rocky.
didn't enjoy it. My parents
Godfather.
didn't like it at all because they were like, it's a little too sci-fi for us.
Well, they were in the minority, is what I'm saying, because the movie
Your
was
parents are minorities.
reviewed well, and also it did really well in the box office. So it's like one of those things that if we use the data we have, then that means that most people liked it.
It was
Schindler's
reviewed well,
List.
but people also admitted to seeing it several times, which is generally the trick to these movies. Like
Antichrist.
it's like
kid
Minions
friendly.
is going to make a shit ton of money, but Minions isn't
Beat
for
out Jurassic
everybody.
World.
Minions is for kids
it
and
could
their
be.
parents.
It-
So that's
Tetsuo the Iron
tickets
Man.
for one attendee.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Again, the data we have says Pixar movies are a very good example of things that are good for everyone. And that's what I'm trying to say is that that's kind of what you want when you're making a movie like this. You want something that's good for everybody.
Just make something like Pixar.
I don't know. I always say
And
just.
that's why Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is the best.
Well, that's the thing I'm going and understanding. Not everyone's a Batman fan. Not everyone's a Justice League fan. I think it's a bit more adult. It's a bit darker. So already you're alienating a part of your audience. There's a lot of kids who are not going to see these movies.
No, it's not very Silver Age.
And there's a lot of parents who are going to say this is too dark for you. So basically you're closing it off to young adults or teenagers who want to disobey their parents and me. So
I disagree.
if they came out and said we're making Batman more family friendly, Joker has no tattoos, he rides in a little convertible and it's okay, and like it's very teen friendly, I'd be like, well, that's not for me. I wouldn't be happy.
I disagree. The movie's
You watched the entire Justice League show.
The movie's PG-13,
great.
so it is therefore for basically everybody. And that's again.
Suicide Squad might be R.
I would
NC-17
100.
I don't know because Deadpool's R.
I'm gonna say
I know
yeah. I mean, that we know, but I don't know what Suicide
Oh wait,
Squad
actually
being rated
maybe
R.
it's not R.
But
Deadpool is R.
It is R. Yeah. They
But,
made the April
but
Fool's.
Batman v Superman is guaranteed
Ooh,
PG-13.
shit.
So
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck, got
and
aced.
so all the things that you were just saying about like kids and stuff like that, I don't think that stuff applies anymore. I think if a movie's PG-13, I think everybody's going to see that movie.
Obionic walked
I don't know.
away
I
from
feel
his
like a
PC.
kid sees Iron Man, he sees Batman. Batman's scary. He's intimidating. His parents are dead. And then like Iron Man, he's a little robot and he flies around. He's got a big green friend. I'm like, yeah, it's a bit more kid friendly.
He's got a butler, a robot butler.
Well, he's
but,
more kid friendly, but that doesn't.
but the amount of money it makes
doesn't.
doesn't make me happy
Nice.
or more sad at night. I mean,
Well, no,
obviously it means they can make more, but I just hope they just stay true to the vision and they make what they want to make.
James.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, again, if they do and it's not good, then that's the problem.
Ooh.
So that's what I'm hoping the movie is good for everyone.
Yeah.
James. No.
Oh, you're not gonna.
For those of you listening,
Fucking pro plays, dude.
Oh.
James is carrying this team right now.
Is it just James?
No.
Oh yeah, 'cause-
Obionic put his controller down. He's
yeah.
jerking off in the
He's
bathroom.
AFK.
What an asshole.
So anyway, yeah, you guys.
Adam, I had a question from a long time ago. I'm gonna summon this one up from the pits.
Okay.
You maybe implied that Tim Burton's '89 Batman was an entry point to Batman for you?
Man, I can't. I mean, honestly, the very first Batman thing I could even think of.
Boom.
Actually, the very first thing was Superman, the really old, I think it's the Max Fletcher cartoons.
Oh wow!
Whatever those were. Those are the
How
first
did
ones.
you watch those?
They were public domain. They were like
Oh.
on TV all the time.
This just went on the internet.
Well, no, like we had recordings or tapes of them or something like that. But I want to say the Adam West one was the first Batman experience I had.
So, given your wealth of Batman knowledge now, I am fascinated by '89 Batman because almost nothing about it is particularly Batman, aside from the fact that there is a character named the Joker.
They got
and
the
there is-
logo wrong too, which is even better.
Right?
Like, on his crest, it's like on his chest or whatever. The logo's like really crappy. It's got way too many bat wings. It's not. I mean, it's not wrong because they redo the logo all the time, but it's just like it's like the worst one. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just curious what your hot take on that particular Batman film was, considering it.
It's a product of the '90s or late '80s.
Late '80s, yeah. I mean, but it's also, it was at the time like the darkest, highest produced comic book movie ever made.
Sure. That's when you put Tim Burton in charge of something when Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns is the hottest comic out there at the time. So it was like, okay, you got, oh, nice. Oh, you got this.
Breakaway.
Who's?
Oh man, where did he come from?
Yeah, I mean, that was inevitable. Like, that was going to happen that way just because they put Tim Burton in charge of it.
Yeah.
And Batman had gone dark at that point, and people wanted to be depressed.
I remember.
Even though the movie's
They did,
actually...
in the late '80s, they wanted to be depressed.
Well, it was like
Oh,
kind of
James.
punk culture and like kind of like a...
There it is.
Yeah, it was, you know, it was a product of its time.
It was.
And then Prince is in it, which is weird.
Yep. A whole lot.
Yeah, like it's most of the soundtrack.
While Joker's running around and knocking down paintings.
Yeah, it's
My rationale there is Tim Burton saw Prince as like a Joker type, performing this character, you know, and wow, right over. And so he was like, oh, so he'll be great for the music. That's my.
yeah. He may have also been on Warner Brothers record label or something. They're like, you need to shove this in here. Kind of like when Dashboard Confessional starts playing in the Spider-Man 2 for no reason.
Man, I love that, right, guys?
Yeah,
Great movie though. No,
Best of the-
Hey, it's
best
like
of the franchise.
yeah, it's like the best of the franchise.
Doc Ock.
And
Darkman 2, best Darkman.
I was born in '85, so I think I was in prime time for Batman consumption because
Yeah, you had the movie, you had Returns, and then you had the animated series.
yeah, the Tim Burton animated series thing came out like '92. So yeah, I was the perfect age for that, and I just kind of grew up like along with it. And then like by the time Batman Begins came out, I was like young adult.
Man,
At the time, so I
that
was
was the
just
coolest thing for a 14-year-old.
What, Batman Begins?
No, wait, I was thinking Batman Beyond. Never mind.
Oh,
Sorry.
Batman Beyond was fucking awesome.
Let's get excited.
There's too many words.
Beyond, Justice League, it was all good. So anyway,
All the faux Akira styling.
anyway,
So good.
I finally got all my Batman talk out. I feel good.
All of it? Really?
No, you didn't.
No, there's no way we
You got
exhausted
about
you.
Talk about it
one
at
more minute
lunch.
left.
No, I lied.
Adam's bat balls still have half a tank.
I'll
We're gonna talk about
I
it at
remember
lunch,
this
I'm
podcast
sure.
about video games.
Well, the viewers have spoken and they said they like it when we talk about other things.
Let's go to the straw poll.
Oh, they want us to talk about Destiny.
Yeah.
Weird.
I was saying
so
this.
fickle.
Well, I was going to say straw polls are immediately, you have to discount them because they're already being taken by people who like to take polls.
Yeah, a sample size of 200. It's that
Yeah.
person at the mall who's like, sure, I've got time.
Yeah.
That guy's name is Fetal Beach.
Which, by the way, if you filled out the straw poll, we're not implying that you don't have anything to do with your time.
Hey, I filled out the straw poll.
But consider picking up a craft.
Yeah, I did one
I
too.
filled it out. I mean, it only took 10 seconds.
Man, I like when Lauren's like, we're not mocking you, and then he mocks them.
I know, that's the joke. Thank you,
Yeah.
Adam.
Come on.
It's only funny to you. You're going to get that.
Oh.
Bend it like Beck.
Like
Yeah.
that. Oh, bend it like that girl
Feel
from
mean.
Bend It Like Beckham.
Keira
Never seen
Knightley?
it.
Oh, the other girl, the Indian one.
Keira Knightley.
No.
Oh.
Dev Patel.
Yeah, that's the one.
But yeah, Batman's branding people. That's weird, huh? You ever do that in the comics, Adam?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe he's not doing
Branding
it.
people?
Yeah, but
In the trailer, you
the
see the
Batman v
little-
Superman trailer. There's
yeah.
like there's a criminal all tied up. There's a batarang next to him, and then
He
he's
did it to
got like,
himself.
yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
he did it to himself.
I don't think
He's been framed.
I didn't think it was branding. I thought it was just he threw really hard at it.
oh, I guess that
Because he was
it looked like
he's
a
so angry.
It
That's
looked
what
like
I
a
thought.
burn.
I like to think that he breaks.
Ben Affleck pulling
Every guy
a
he
tire
captures,
with
he
a
brings
rope.
them so he knows if they do it
Man,
again,
you are really
he'll kill him.
infatuated with that tire.
I like as he's doing the.
Adam likes backs. Strong
Dude, he
backs.
looks fucking. Look, I know you think you can beat up Ben Affleck, but
Assuming I get a sucker punch in on him. I can beat up anybody if I sucker punch him.
Batman.
you can't sucker punch Batman.
Flips tires.
He's
and
He's
shit.
not Batman!
He's 100% Batman.
He'll be Batman for the 2.5 hours because it's a Zack Snyder
You haven't
movie.
even seen the movie yet. How do you know he's
Val
Batman?
Kilmer's still Batman?
Yeah, maybe he's not Batman.
Yeah.
Maybe he's actually the Joker. You think about that?
That what? Don't flick me. Please don't do
Flick
that.
him.
Man.
The only way he'll learn.
Nah.
What if
That
hey,
desert outfit looks fucking awesome.
what if in the
Everything
last
looks
5
cool.
minutes
That looks
they
fucking
reveal
awesome.
that Batman's just been writhing on the floor because
Now,
of
Adam thinks it looks awesome
Scarecrow
because
venom
it's
or whatever.
referencing comics that
Yeah, that he
enjoys.
knows exactly.
Not
I don't
really.
think
I
it
mean,
looks cool. I
it
don't-
wasn't until James said, "Oh, it's from Red Sun." I was like, "Oh yeah, it kind of is."
Oh,
But like,
bullshit.
what?
Bullshit. You fucking knew that.
Look,
Ah.
I didn't know what that was, and I was like, maybe it's a dream sequence. Like that's what I was.
Sure.
guessing.
I mean, look, Zack Snyder makes things look fucking awesome.
He does.
Like,
I want the credit. Yeah.
I mean, even if it's a dream sequence or I don't care. It's just like, I mean, we've already seen Superman like go into like some weird like desert prison thing. So I assume he's going there and it's like the Sons
weird
of Superman
compound.
sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, man, Zod clones, they're all
Oh my God! Nobody cares.
No, I'm pretty sure
Our
it's
audience
I think
cares.
That's a setup for
bring up the
Doomsday.
strap hole.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I think
Suck
you're-
it, Joel.
Maybe you're right.
What?
I'd like to see Doomsday.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. Well, they're gonna have to set up.
They have
Doomsday.
to, right?
Well, yeah, because they need.
I know Doomsday.
They need
I read the
a.
comics.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
They need
Everyone
a
else is like,
Thanos.
what?
Well,
they need a
Darkseid.
Thanos-type character. They need, so Superman doesn't have an equal right now. So you need either Darkseid
Batman.
or
Brainiac.
no.
Darkseid,
Batman's gonna make
Brainiac,
a movie.
Doomsday, kind of.
And they kind of showed some kryptonite, so that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
And they showed a part where like Superman was kneeling to Lex Luthor,
That
but
wasn't
didn't look
good
happy about it.
Kryptonite in this, in like
No, it's
Man,
absolutely there. Unless there's
Man
another
of
green glowing rock that looks ominous.
Uranium.
Yeah.
It's in the trailer. I don't know.
Yeah,
it could be uranium.
I don't know where they're going with
Maybe
it.
it's like a nuclear bomb. So wait, Snyder said there's no kryptonite in this
the
universe?
What?
First
They show.
one.
They show,
Lex Luthor.
him looking at
Yeah.
a giant.
Well,
so the way they handled it in Man of Steel was they had Kryptonian atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's how like he felt weaker. But now they can't make Kryptonian atmosphere, so like, all right, here's a rock.
Yeah,
Here's a rock.
Yeah, I mean, I
Turns out air doesn't look that menacing on camera.
it's okay when they don't have to shove every trope, or I guess not even a trope, but like everything from the Superman
do you think
mythos
he'll
or
get
whatever.
his other powers like laser eyes and cross breaths?
He has
He
laser
has
eyes.
laser
Yeah,
eyes.
he has laser
We
eyes.
need some more.
More. A third laser eye.
I don't know if Frost
I want
Breath
more
is really that
powers.
compelling.
This
I
is
don't know.
when we find out that Spoole has not read a single
Yeah.
Superman comic, nor has he
think I
seen
have.
the film.
As in
I
most,
haven't seen the Superman comic.
as in most things in life, when there's a conversation happening, he just smiles, giggles, and nods.
Yeah.
I had my 2 cents.
He was
You
watching,
do, you do,
he was
yeah.
watching Benny and June as a kid, and he was like,
I-
"That's Superman, right?"
am
And he was
the
like, "Yeah,
general
that's
public.
Superman."
You are. You're the voice of the common man, Spoole. How's that
Well,
feel?
how?
How's that feel?
Common man who eats his own garbage.
I don't eat garbage.
Not every
cat
day.
food. I
Wait, hold on. He was saying
Yeah,
I
yeah.
eat cat food. Go on.
Go on. Come on, garbage boy.
Oh,
He only eats cashews and almonds.
Oh.
We strap a feedback to his face so he edits more.
That's good.
Time
Hey, I got
down.
about 3:40 this morning.
Yeah, we missed you, Spool.
You did that out by choice.
Yeah, that was by choice. You were on vacation.
Yeah.
Chose. To
How
do
was your
that.
vacation, by the way?
It was nice.
That's nice.
it's good. Relaxing.
Yeah.
Except for that last day, I had to get up real early.
I realized we hadn't talked about it yet, but we got robbed.
Robbed.
We got robbed.
We can talk about that.
yeah.
All right, well,
Speaking
We
of Batman.
shouldn't talk too much
we can
about
go a
it.
little longer. We're just waiting.
It's
I
an
guess-
open case.
How long is it?
Yeah.
We started at
Hour
10.
and 5.
Oh yeah, we should
Well-
probably.
I was just gonna say. I
got
think,
robbed,
I think
that's
there
it.
are people
Yeah.
out there who think this is part of some sort of prank. Nope.
Absolutely
we
not.
actually got robbed.
The cops have been
Unless it
here
is
twice
pirate
now.
prank, we don't know.
Actually, wait, no, Bruce. You said we weren't robbed. We were burgled.
Burglarized.
Yeah.
They
Obviously,
said
the
the
condescendingly.
police were very
Bruce.
insistent that
Yeah.
we use the right term.
Talk about context.
But they
the
did
cops
steal.
actually read law books, so they know what the right
They
terms
know.
are.
Yeah. Burglarize is what
They
happened.
well, they did steal. Spoole's bag of money.
They did. I don't have it. No more $1 1 hour canceled.
Well,
So now I think it's
it wasn't that critical of a prop to the show anyway.
Yeah,
you think-
I didn't even know that that's what it was for.
That was my favorite part of it, is that he just held it the whole time.
Yeah.
I shook
You
it.
can shake it sometime.
It was all pennies. It weighed more than it was worth, you dumbasses.
The best is we had to fill out like a
thieves.
declaration form for like things that were taken. It was
1428
like, it was
in a
like
giant
about
Ziploc bag.
$20. I don't know.
I wrote Spoole's change bag. That's not a joke. I wrote that on the police report.
But no one touched us inappropriately. We all. I mean, my psyche's
I was gonna
hurt.
say.
Yeah, the exact
during
series
the
of events
burglary.
was we went to lunch, we came back, we were very happy.
Great.
It was
New
a nice
office,
lunch.
Everything's
We got
great.
moved in.
But
We're in
then
the gulag now.
Matt, when we walked in, Matt noticed that all of his junk was on the floor and his bag was gone.
Yeah.
So we were like, "What the fuck happened?" And then we just combed the office and found that other things were missing. So
Yeah, well,
we don't
I-
have any details
They
other
took
than
the
that.
PS4, but none of the Xboxes.
Oh, yeah, they took my
so
PS4.
That's in for PS4.
They're PlayStation fanboys. That much we can confirm.
Yeah, they didn't touch any of the Xboxes.
No.
This place is littered with Xboxes.
The PS3 was hidden.
Future thieves.
And this is why we use the Xbox. It's
Riddled with Xbox.
Yeah.
it's its own anti-theft.
And for
device.
everyone else telling us, like, just do the Find My iPad. It is password locked, so they have to figure out the password first before they can even get on a
Password's
Wi-Fi.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Thieves, if you're listening, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very
But
simple.
please don't reset it after you log in.
Because it was for everyone here to use, so it's like, all right, just use the iPad.
a very well-meaning individual on RoosterTeeth.com sent me a message saying, "Hey, you just send me your Apple ID and password. I can find that iPad for you."
Nice. Well, you want my social security number
Will
while you're at
do,
it?
yeah. I know.
Okay,
thanks.
regular one.
For those curious, we're taking care of it. It's all good. We're
Yeah.
getting new cameras on its way.
It's just
We're fine.
bittersweet. We were walking back from lunch debating the safety of Joel's neighborhood.
Yeah, we were mocking him for living in Hollywood.
Yeah, we're like, haha, everything gets stolen there. Where's our stuff?
And then the cops came and fingerprinted.
Also
No,
on
they
the way
didn't.
to lunch,
They did.
I was like, this is kind of an industrial area. I was talking about how we've kind of downgraded.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
when
Yeah,
we
that's right.
first were doing Funhaus, we were in like a studio on a studio lot,
Yeah.
and then we moved to a bigger like kind of like new media building with a bunch of other things going on, and now we actually have our own place, but. It was studio lot to building to kind of weird warehouse type situation. And I was like, I think we're moving backwards, guys.
I like it though. It's like Rocky 3, the best Rocky.
Sort of.
the best.
No, Rocky 2 's the
Rocky
best.
4.
Rocky 2 is the
Rocky
best.
4 is the best.
Ah,
Sorry, guys.
4 is just all montages.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Rocky-
It depends on what you want out of Rocky.
Yes.
I think you can.
4 is like
I like 5.
laser.
One also won some awards.
Rocky or
I think
Tommy the
first
Machine
one
Gun.
won some awards.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as many boxing montages.
I love that.
It's just the one, really.
I love that. Spool's all. I like Rocky 5, and Lawrence is like Rocky 5.
Maybe he means Rocky.
Rocky
Balboa.
5 is the movie where Sylvester Stallone, like 15 years later, was like, "We can't end on that one. We got to do this again."
You know what's funny? I've never actually seen Rocky 1.
Really?
Or 2.
Oh.
When does he fight the Russian? 3?
Come on.
That's 4.
Oh, man. I've seen. Wait, what?
4 is Ivan Drago. 3 is Mr. T.
Because I can only.
And Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thunder Lips.
I've seen that one a few times because it was whatever was on TV. And it was always be like,
Clubber
welcome back to
Lang.
the Rocky Marathon. And I was always halfway through. And I was like, well, I guess
Rocky
I'll.
one's like never on TV.
Yeah.
Because
It's never on TV.
it's the like the most questionably the most legitimate of all of them because it's a lot slower and more human.
It probably costs more to license,
Do you think that's what
right?
it is?
Because it's a
Oh,
more valuable
I think that-
film.
I think
Interesting.
yeah, you're probably right.
but people
yeah.
then are like, fuck it, put 4 on.
Put 4
Yeah,
on, sure.
4 was always on.
Hearts on Fire.
Ooh, he just
Strong Desire.
Yeah. So anyway, I should probably watch Rocky 1 at some point, but it's been referenced.
Rocky Marathon.
Maybe. I don't.
It is.
It's
I'll
really
search
good.
it.
I feel like I've
It's
seen.
totally worth it.
No. I don't think you have seen
No, it's
it.
totally worth it. Adam.
No, I feel like I have seen it.
No.
You would
hear me
know.
out. Hear me out.
No.
I feel like
no,
I have
no,
seen
no,
it, but I know I should see it.
No,
Okay.
but that's what I'm saying. You haven't seen it.
I know.
And you don't feel like you've seen it.
Yes,
This
I
is-
do.
No.
He's telling
Or
you.
does he run up the stairs?
There are movies-
Does he put the egg in the cup and he drinks it and he
But
goes,
these are-
Adrian,
These
because
are
he
not
doesn't
the
really
moments
win.
of the movie.
Yeah,
These are
those
not
He goes
moments
the
of movie.
distance,
He
right?
runs up the
These
stairs.
are not the moments of the movie.
Those are the things that
movie
people
is such
parody
a
about the movie.
slow
is.
thing with like all these other sequences that are never referenced
Take
in
her to the
Rocky
zoo.
movies because they don't adhere to the stereotypes
Yeah,
of the Rocky franchise.
absolutely right.
That's why it's not like Casablanca. If you haven't seen Casablanca and you go watch it now, you've seen it. It looks like you're just watching a compilation. It's like you're watching like Naked Gun or something because it's just a compilation of other things that you've seen referenced, and there is nothing else to the movie. That's the whole thing. But Rocky is almost entirely not those moments that you know are associated with Rocky. That's what's weird about it.
It's like his first date with Adrian. It's really awkward and cute.
Yeah.
Well, it's also really strange. Like if you
Little
haven't
rapey.
seen First Blood, if you haven't seen Rambo: First Blood,
Oh yeah.
you have no idea what that movie's about.
Exactly.
It's
True.
really absolutely.
All the
stereo.
it's exactly like Rambo.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's going ape shit on a Canadian town.
I was confused as a child because I remember I had known Rambo 3 at the time.
Oh, I thought it was Canada.
And it was like him just killing stuff, and then it was like Rambo First Blood. I'm like, why is he walking around in the woods? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is he an angry vet?
By the way, the movie's awesome.
And only one person
so
dies
good.
in that.
Well, I played the game, so
because he's
I
not
feel
a
like I know
hero.
enough.
He's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's not.
And then come Rambo 2, it's like I got a headband. Now I'm gonna fight for.
Yeah,
freedom.
and remember when he fights,
he
he's
gets
gonna fight
back.
ISIS and Rambo 6
so
or whatever.
awesome.
I can't fucking wait.
It's gonna be.
I love movies. There's only
He's
two
gonna
that
out terrorize the terrorists.
There's two that I can think of, but I love movies that have soldiers come home and they're like, "We don't take kindly to your types, you soldier fighting boys over there protecting our nation."
So,
In Vietnam, that was a thing.
people always laugh when I say this, so I'm gonna say it. The director's commentary to First Blood is fascinating. So the Brian Dennehy character, the one who's like just like giving Rambo all sorts of shit, like his character was a Korean War vet, and he was just innately hated Vietnam vets because they got like all of the weird glory when it came to being a dejected soldier. And he's like, nobody even cared about my war. Fuck you.
No one knows your war whistle.
But that for some reason that explanation scene didn't make it into the film, so it just seems
That
like
helps.
Dennehy's just being an asshole. But it's more like there's a context.
That's
there.
what everyone's asking. What was Brian Dennehy's character?
You know where it's not explained though? Where? Con Air.
Oh, yeah.
Nicolas Cage comes home from whatever the Gulf War or whatever, and there's a bunch of good old boys going like, "Soldier boy, huh?"
Yeah, they would all love him.
They have like Confederate flags on their trucks. They're like, "We don't
strange.
take kindly to you soldier boys coming in here."
Best commentary though, I think it's Total Recall with Arnold. All he does is describe the film. There's a supercut of it, but he's just like, "Yeah, and here's I'm taking this thing out of my nose, and then, yeah, there it goes." It's just like, thanks, Arnold.
All right, I guess we
Much
should wrap
appreciated.
it up.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this week.
Shut up, Joel.
2-hour podcast.
How's your standing desk?
Guys, please throw a straw poll up on Reddit so we know how we did this week.
We're gonna have couches eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
some
we're figuring that out. It was a
And
boy.
you're probably looking around aesthetically, and you're like, why did you guys downgrade to like a weird, sad basement with weird, like, Berber on the walls?
What is it? 2
Because
miles
the room,
underground.
the room is huge. Yeah, we're 2 miles
Yeah.
2
underground.
miles underground.
The room is huge, though. So
is huge.
It's really great. We have a lot of room now. It's honestly, this is the best space so far.
Office tour coming up soon, other stuff, so that's all incoming.
Bruce can stand all the way up now. He doesn't have to
We
hunch.
used to have to hunch before.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
really
terrible
weird.
back problems.
Really cool. There's just so much more room. It's great. We can move
great.
around. It's good stuff. So a lot of things coming.
Recycled air.
Basement air. All right.
I
Anyways.
miss sunlight, but that's okay.
Who needs it? Look forward to those couches though.
We can be loud and people don't complain anymore. They don't passive aggressively close the door on us.
Yeah, they sure do.
All right, that's it.
More Joel. Also, we're all in the same room. I love it. Anyway, thanks for
Thank you,
watching.
everybody. Love you.
Oh man, those suits were great. They're so fun to wear. And underneath those, we're wearing a dancer belt, which is basically a thong
Nice.
that rides up
Sign
your
me
butt. Gavin refused to wear it.
So he was just sticking balls out there the
He
whole
was
time?
digging balls out
Restrictive
the
or
whole
not
time.
restrictive enough?
It was. I think it was probably not restrictive enough.
boy.
You probably wanted a little more.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a cock ring.
A little more sway.
You want to really feel it when you have it on.
That's right. Makes you feel strong.
Yeah.
Empowered?
Every time you shake somebody's hand, you're like,
I'm wearing a cock ring.